Did you know your AC is burning fuel right now even if the light is completely off? That little green button doesn't mean what you think it means. When your car kicks into defrost mode or starts managing cabin humidity, the AC compressor quietly switches on in the background, and your fuel tank pays for it every single trip. So every day you drive thinking you've saved money by turning AC off, you probably haven't. Stick around because we're going through 21 features your car has that almost nobody actually uses. And one of them is costing you money right now. Here's the kicker. When that green AC light goes dark, the compressor doesn't necessarily stop running. Most drivers assume it does. That assumption is the whole problem, and it's costing real money every single day. So picture a cold Tuesday morning. You jump in the car, the windshield is fogged up, and you crank the defrost. You're thinking you're just pushing hot air at the glass, right? That's what it feels like. But the second you hit that defrost button, your car's HVAC system does something you didn't ask it to do. It switches the AC compressor on. Not because it's cooling anything, because the compressor pulls moisture out of the air, and dry air clears glass way faster than warm air does. Heat alone can't do it efficiently. The compressor does the actual work, and it doesn't matter that the AC light is off. The compressor is still spinning. It's still drawing power off the engine, and that power comes directly from burning fuel. Think about how many times you hit defrost in a normal week. Cold mornings, rainy afternoons, anytime someone breathes in the car and the windows start fogging up inside. Every single one of those moments, the compressor is running in the background without you knowing. That's a lot of unplanned fuel burn stacking up across a week, a month, a whole winter. And defrost isn't the only trigger. Your car also uses the compressor for cabin humidity control. So if the sensors pick up that the air inside is getting muggy, say it's a hot, humid afternoon, and you've got the fan running but not the full AC, the system can quietly kick the compressor on just to manage moisture levels. No light, no alert, nothing on the dash changes. It just does it, because the car decided it needed to. Here's what that actually looks like in real numbers. A C compressor load can cut your fuel economy by anywhere from 5 to 25%, depending on the car and the conditions. On a 30-mile commute, that's not nothing. Spread it across a full week of driving, and you're talking about a meaningful chunk of fuel you burned without realizing why. You won't believe how simple the fix is once you know what's going on. If it's mild out and you've just got a little fog on the inside of the glass, you don't need full defrost mode at all. Crack a side window slightly and run the fan. That lets fresh air in, moisture escapes, and the compressor never kicks on. It handles light fogging just fine, and you're not burning extra fuel to do it. Now flip that around. If you actually need fast defogging, thick frost, heavy interior fog, you need clear glass right now. Stop fighting the system. The AC is running, and that's exactly why it's working. Let it do its job. You'll clear the glass faster than you would trying to manage it manually with heat alone. So the AC button isn't really an on/off switch for the compressor. It's more like a manual override on top of a system that's already making its own decisions. The car runs the compressor when it thinks it needs to, regardless of what that button says. Knowing when that's happening puts you back in control of what's actually going on under the hood. Did you know there are buttons on your steering wheel that you've probably never touched? Not because they're hard to reach, but because they're hiding on the wrong side? So, picture how you actually hold the wheel. Most drivers grip at 9 and 3. Thumbs pointing forward, fingers curled around the back of the spokes. That back face of the spoke, the part your fingers are literally resting against right now. That's where manufacturers on a huge number of cars have added a second layer of controls. Not on the front where you can see them, on the back where you can only feel them. And these aren't rare luxury car features. Honda has them. Toyota has them. Ford has them. Hyundai has them. Everyday cars that people drive to work every morning. They control volume, track skipping, call answering, sometimes voice commands. The whole reason most drivers never find them is simple. Nobody ever points at the back of the wheel and says, "Look here." The engineering logic behind it actually makes a lot of sense. The front face of the spoke already has buttons for the controls you use most. But engineers wanted a second set of inputs you could hit without moving your thumbs off those front buttons or glancing down at the dash. So they molded small raised buttons and rocker switches right into the rear face of the spoke designed to work purely by feel. Finding them takes about 5 seconds once you know what you're doing. Keep your hand in a normal driving position on the left. Spoke and run your index finger or middle finger slowly along the back edge of the spoke near where it meets the rim. You'll feel a small raised button or a rocker switch sitting right there. That's it. That's the one you've been missing the whole time you've owned the car. Now think about how many times you've reached over to the center console or tapped around on the infotainment screen just to skip a song or turn the volume down a notch. Every single time you do that, your eyes come off the road, even for 2 seconds. These rear buttons exist specifically because that's a problem, and the solution was already built into your steering wheel. Right next to this idea sits another feature you've probably never fully used, and it's on something you touch every single drive: the sun visor. Most drivers flip it down and call it done, but a huge number of visors have a sliding extension panel built into the side. It pulls out toward the door, and it's designed to cover that gap between the edge of the visor and the window frame, exactly where low-angle sun gets through during a sunset or sunrise drive on the highway. You know that specific kind of glare where the visor is down but the sun is still hitting you from the side at this brutal angle, and you're squinting and slowing down because you can barely see? That's the exact problem the extension panel solves. Slide it out toward the door and it covers that gap. The light stops. It's a separate panel built right into the visor, and most people never pull it out once in the years they own the car. Stick around because we've still got more of these to get through. And a couple of them aren't just about convenience. They're actually useful when something goes wrong. Every single day you drive, your car is quietly doing things you never asked it to do. Some of them cost you money, like that compressor kicking on during defrost. Others are just sitting there waiting, like those rear wheel buttons and the visor extension you never slid out.